My question is why? I understand how. I know you got a thick skin. You're not one of those people that's afflicted with the need to be loved by strangers. I get that.
I think that's true.
My question is not how do you do it. My question is why do you do it? Why do you, cause let's face it, I mean, you're a billionaire, you got a great family, you're a very dedicated father. People may not see this in you a lot because you keep that kind of private, but my question to you is why do you subject yourself to this?
So there's a movement in this country. It's called MAGA. And Biden's always fighting it. We will stop MAGA. MAGA is Make America Great Again. And we were doing, you know, I had an administration that was a tremendous success. Even enemies, I mean, we had the greatest economy in history. We had the best job numbers in history. That's why I'm doing so well with the black and Hispanic vote. They had the best job numbers they've ever had. We were doing things that were incredible. And I was going through Russia hoax. I was going through the impeachment stuff, you know, all of that. And, you know, in one way, I jokingly said, somebody said, can you imagine what he could have done? Because I had one of the most successful presidencies. And yet I was constantly fighting off the radical left lunatics. They are deranged. They are. It's like a derangement syndrome. But I actually said, you know, maybe in some ways I did better because I showed something. But maybe with too much time on my hands, it would have gone too far. The administration wouldn't have been as successful as it was. When you look at our job numbers, I built the military, largest tax cuts ever. Largest tax cuts, bigger than the tax cuts.
But higher
largest
revenue.
regulation cuts ever.
I'm staying with.
So watching your interview today, I think it actually gave me an interpretation that I've never had of him before. And us not seeing him more, it actually kind of hurts hurts people on judging him. I guess if that's what the media wants to do, then they're doing a very good job at it.
Yeah, you bet. All right.
The job we do.
You have rallied people. I had people in my focus group the other night that said, I have not voted for Trump before. I have not been a Trump fan before, but I have donated to Trump because he has inspired me. I have donated to him, and I am voting for him now, and I have not before, but he has inspired me.
Actually, it's been a beautiful thing to watch. Thank you.
Mr. President, it's been an honor speaking with you.
What's going on, everyone? Saucekin here today, and I will be reacting to the Dr. Phil interviews. I got some clips ready for you guys, but I wanted to highlight something that I noticed with the Dr. Phil episode. It seems to humanize Trump. Now, I know what you're saying. Like, hey, it's obvious that Trump's human, but the left and many people in the middle are just not exposed to this side of Trump before. And the funny part is, and you saw in one of the clips that I showed you in the intro, that you saw this lady here. I think I could put it up right here. An audience member says that watching his interview with Donald Trump gave her a new perspective on Trump and says the media has been lying in their portrayal of him. And this is something I've been pointing out a lot on my channel, is that how the mainstream media is overwhelmingly dominated by liberals, Democrat donors, Democrat people who are registered Democrats. Journalism is the most leftist profession in America, right? And all they want to portray Trump is negative. 86%, I think 86% of the coverage on Trump is negative. So when you have all these media outlets portraying Trump in a negative light, it conditions your perspective, your perception of Trump, and saying, "Oh my God, he's Hitler. How can anyone vote for him?" And then once they get to see him in a different setting, not from an aggressive partisan journalist, right? Like a Abby Phillips or these other journalists that works for like CNN, when they don't see him in that setting, they just see him in a different light. They're like, oh, okay. Because sometimes this is why mainstream media, this is why leftists and liberals specifically, and Democrats, they love censorship. Because if they have censorship, if they have their way, they get to craft a narrative. They get to portray anyone as they want to. They want to portray you as a racist. They'll take clips out of context. They'll clip you up, do all this nonsense just to push out a narrative, just so they can argue an imagination of that person. You don't notice on liberal media, they really debate and argue about the portrayal of somebody. Oh, he's a racist. Okay, what did he actually play the clip? Play the full clip. What did he said that was actually racist? How do you know Donald Trump was racist? Put out a whole story about how Donald Trump allegedly said the N-word on his show, but there's no proof or evidence. But they're making a whole narrative around it. And then when people call the mainstream media the arm of the Democratic Party, they feel offended about that. Oh, we're real journalists. Okay, this is what real journalism is, or you're a propagandist. This is why most people don't trust the mainstream media anymore. And this is why they're so scared of alternative sources. This is why they are afraid of people getting their sources from X, from alternative commentators like myself and others, the bigger guys out there, because they know they can't control the narrative anymore. So these are the clips I opened up with, but you can see a trend in Dr. Phil's kind of coverage of this whole of Donald Trump, right? Because I want to show you a 4 minute clip. I don't think I'm gonna go through the whole thing, but I just want, I guess, a good 2 minutes of it, and I want to show you how Dr. Phil is feeling. Because Dr. Phil to me represents a classical liberal, right? And as much as I like to like bash liberals, when I'm thinking of the liberal, really the liberal I'm bashing in my head is the millennial modern day liberal, which is a progressive at this point, right? Because you liberals allow progressives to wear liberalism like a skin suit. That's been my biggest argument, right? And now I got pushed into the conservative camp, and I think this is what's going on with Dr. Phil. And I want you to hear exactly what he has to say in this clip. And I think it's very important on why the Trump convictions and the guilty verdict has backfired. And allegedly, Trump raised $400 million, right? He announced this at Turning Point Action, I believe, in Arizona. I may not, the clip is out there, but let's take a look.
I wanted to share my final thought about this. This weaponization of our great institutions, the FBI, Justice Department, and individual states' similar institutions, will lead to one of two outcomes. One is more of the same from the other side, tit for tat. That may seem deserved, but it is not the right way forward for America. The other is what I call on you to demand from your politicians today, an end to this craziness in order to save the soul and sanity of our country. The Pope has actually given us the right approach in his new book when he says, we are all brothers and sisters, and there must be no resentment among us. For any war to truly end, forgiveness is necessary. That is true of any war, including our current cultural war. We need our Justice Department to return to the business of meting out justice and not running the political agendas of those currently in power.
Yep. And that's exactly what's going on, right? This has humanized Trump in the largest degree that the Democrats party didn't even account for. Because when he said that we all need to see each other as brothers and sisters, that's essentially how I see myself as an American, as a patriot, nationalist. That's why I say, hey, there needs to be like a common foundation we all share. Because without this common foundation, it'll become party over country, and that's what the situation for our politics has become. Oh, Democrats do something, oh, we don't care. We just want to get Trump. Oh no, 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 our guy has good reasons to do this. Our guy has good reasons to break precedent and reject Trump's appeal. Oh, even though our guy looked like he's biased because he donated to anti-Trump uh, political action groups, he can make a fair judge. He can make an objective judgment in a country where we put country over party. This would not have happened. But we don't have any common foundation anymore, and it's so ridiculous to me that I don't know. It's so ridiculous to me at this point that the Democrats are essentially giving Donald Trump the floor at this point. And I don't know how Biden's going to do in the debates because there's stuff out there about him allegedly pooping his pants when I think he just wanted to sit down because he was tired already from standing up. And I think that's what the clip's going on. But people are now speculating that did Joe Biden pooped himself? And I'm like, that's the kind of leadership that we voted for. That's who we made Biden. That's who we made the most popular president ever. A man that looks mentally out of it, lost at times. Like there's polls out there. Independents rather have an egotistical Trump, right? The way the media portrays Trumps as egotistical, self-centered. The independents say they'd rather vote for this man, that portrayal of Trump, than a mentally unfit Biden. And it doesn't matter how much cover mainstream media does, like Morning Joe and all these other guys running cover for him. People can see you can't. He's not passing the eye test. And if he frees up on the debate stage, it's a wrap. I'm just saying.
when you're home alone, you're riding in the car, you're by yourself. What is the hardest, darkest moment that you can think of in this journey you've been on the last several years?
You have to be very strong. You're fighting off very evil forces, and they're very smart forces. There are people that control Biden, totally true. I think I know who they are largely. But there are people that control him. They're very smart, very energetic. Possibly they're real believers, what their sick ideology is. But you have to be smart, and you have to have confidence. I mean, you have to have a certain confidence. The other thing is, I realize over the years, I've been through a lot, great and bad. I won the presidency. Everybody said, how are you going to do? How good is that? It was the most incredible evening one of the most incredible evenings in the history of the country. Look at the celebration. I mean, it was incredible. But you also go through bad. I also I understand fully that the bad also disappears. In other words, you'll go through bad moments, and it disappears. It's sort of funny because I've watched your show a lot over the years. See, I'm not ashamed to say it because some people say, "Oh, you watch Dr. Phil." Well, your show is a very smart show, and I've watched you ask a question similar to that to some couple or and they break down. Oh, they start crying on the show. I said, that's never happening to me. If that happens to me, that's the end of my political career. I think maybe people would like me better. But I'll tell you what, you need strength. You have to have strength. And people don't want to see that. I've watched so many people, you break down people, they don't even know they're being broken down. But it's different.
Yeah, I think we do lack strength at this point. And I think that's why Biden's not really taken seriously at the larger stage.
When the crowds aren't
when things playing again. This is why Democrats are not Democrats. This is why Biden's not being taken seriously in the bigger stage. When he says, "Don't," no one respects that. Who's this guy? He can barely stand upright. What is old tired man telling me? And they do it anyway. They're walking all over Biden. And I think this interview is a must watch. Donald Trump got some funny moments in there. This is him roasting Adam Schiff. Let's listen into this.
These are not stupid people. I call him Watermelon Head. He's got the thinnest neck I've ever seen. How it holds up that head. He's got a neck that's about a size 6. Very unattractive guy, both inside and outside. And people say, "Oh, that's such a terrible thing to say." That's okay. Very unattractive guy. Here's the thing. These are bad people, and these are not stupid people. I call him Watermelon Head. He's got the thinnest neck.
He called Adam Schiff Watermelon Head. But I implore you guys to watch the full interview. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. I'll probably watch it on my long drive to work. But based on the clips, I think Dr. Phil did a really good job here. I think as someone who's seen a lot of Trump interviews and how it's like, oh, we got to worry about fact checking him. And like, fact checking what? He's a presidential candidate that's giving his perspective. You can't really fact check that. This is why mainstream media get the bad rap it does with like independents and conservatives, is because the same effort you do towards Trump, you don't do it to Biden. When Biden's sitting here saying, when I came into the office, inflation was 9%. Journalists never check him on that. But God forbid, Donald Trump exaggerates something about his administration, and y'all quick to fact check him. Donald Trump says something, and then y'all quick to fight him, and it becomes a debate on stage when it's supposed to be a town hall. Y'all remember the CNN town hall? I forgot her name. I always forget her name. But she has like a strong draw line. I forgot her name. It starts with a K. Someone's going to remind me. Caitlin Collins, I think her name. No, that's someone else. I don't know. I don't know her name. But she was here debating, and then Donald Trump called her a nasty woman. Not a nasty woman, but he said, you're so nasty. I think you're a nasty girl. I forget. Anyway, it was a CNN town hall. I just remember she was the one that I did a video a long time ago on it. I think it was like last year. And the mainstream media don't have the same energy when it comes to Democrats. And this is why it kind of validates my theories and my rationalizations, is that, hey, if you wasn't partisan, if you wasn't biased, you'll be consistent in how you approach both candidates, right? But it's obvious, there's an obvious bias. The treatment that Biden gets is more favorable than the treatment that Trump gets. News media cover Trump 86% of the time negatively. If you look at in journalists, it's overwhelmingly dominated by Democrats to the point where a conservative journalist is considered an endangered species in the profession. But then, oh no, we call it down the middle. We just report the facts. Yeah, okay. There's proof otherwise. I think Good Morning America just got exposed by James O'Keefe about how they filter out people that can go against their narrative because they believe that the facts have a liberal bias. Facts have a liberal bias, but y'all almost been wrong about everything you publicly told us to be concerned about. The Hunter Biden laptop, but we're supposed to trust you. This is why Americans don't trust mainstream media. You saw the lady in the intro. She said, "Yo, I never seen this side of Trump before." I think the media's portrayal of it is asinine of Donald Trump because they can't debate him on the facts. They can't debate him on the policy. Jen Psaki, I think she said it on some show. People will find the clip somewhere where she told Biden, "Don't focus on the accomplishment because he can't win on the accomplishments. Focus on the contrast." Oh yeah, Biden's giving hell of a contrast right now. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say and what you guys think of the Dr. Phil interview. If you haven't got a chance to watch it, please watch the full thing. I think it's a very good interview, and I think it really humanized Trump. And I think that's something that Trump needs to go going forward into these debates because I think it will help his cause. Because I think that's why the guilty verdict is backfiring because they humanize Trump. They're like, damn, he could be self-centered at times, he could be egotistical at times, but damn, that's not right what happened to him, and that humanizes him. And I think the biggest thing I notice in politics and politicians that win is how relatable they are to the American people. And I think him being prosecuted like that, it resonated with some people in this country that felt they were unjustly prosecuted. And I think that humanization of Trump is what is making him relatable to the most American people. And I think this is why he's doing so well in the polls. But that's just my speculation. Let me hear yours in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you watching to the end of the video. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.